All right, welcome back. I hope you're excited for the start of this journey. There's so much opportunity here for you, and I know if you stay with it, you will succeed. And make sure you join the Facebook group because we're here to cheer you on, to support you, to help you, answer your questions, and so is the community. We're doing this together, we're growing together, and we're going to reach our goals together. If you remember from the last episode though, sometimes it goes really, really quick. And I hope that's for you because that's an exciting journey. But sometimes it takes longer time. Sometimes you'll work for 12 months, burrowing, and you won't get any results. And let me tell you a story. A friend of mine runs a company here in Sweden. It's a business company, and he named it after a certain tree from China. And now this tree, when you plant the tree, you have to be very careful with it. It has to be planted in the perfect place, and it has to be watered every single day. If you miss a day, it's done. It won't come out. And for a full year, you have to, no, sorry, not even 1 year. I think it's 5 years. 5 years you have to water it every single day, and nothing comes up over the ground. You don't see a thing. If you miss a single day, you never will, but it won't pop out. But all of a sudden, after 5 years, it starts coming up. And the moment it comes up out of the ground, it starts growing by 3 feet per day until it becomes this huge, huge tree. It's like you can sit there and you can almost see it growing in front of you. And it's an amazing journey. But in those first 5 years, nothing happened. And it feels so hard, and every day you're watering it, and you're getting no reward back. But that's because everything has happened below the surface. The root system is growing, the base is growing, the base is getting stronger. And finally, when that base is powerful and strong, it shoots up and becomes that huge tree. And that's where you're starting now. We're building the base. Throughout this course, we're going to give you the tools. We're going to build that base for you so you have that strength. The Getting Started checklist will show you every step you need to take to build up this base, and then we'll start growing. And it will take time sometimes. You'll build, and you'll build. You won't see it. It won't push through the surface. You won't see the result, but you're building the base, and then all of a sudden it shoots up. But I know how hard it can be, and one of my mentors, a man called Arnon Barnes, he took me to the Netherlands for an event, and he said, "Daniel, you have to be there. I need to show you this." And I said, "Okay, all right." Because I'd been going through a very tough time in my business. It was when we just started doing events, and it was very new to me. I mean, I was a property investor. I didn't have to talk to other people than my investors and my partners, and all of a sudden we're running events for hundreds of people, and it was very overwhelming. And it was a very cost-heavy business. It's very expensive to put up an event like that. And if the event didn't go well, we didn't make any money and we'd lost a lot. And so I was starting to feel the strain. I was starting to feel the pressure of getting into this new business. And I kind of wanted to give up. And so what I started doing was I would start to cut our costs. To kind of make sure we were safe and kind of put us on defense to make sure that we could survive as long as possible while we figured it out. And it makes sense, And instead of spending, 100,000 or, I was spending about 10,000 pounds per event, I tried to cut that to about 3,000 pounds because then I thought I'll have 3 times as many chances to figure this out. And so I came down to the Netherlands and he kind of showed me look, there's 2 ways to play a game. So there's 2 ways to play a hockey game. One is on offense and one is on defense. Who do you think will win this game? The team that plays offense or the team that plays defense? And we said, well, obviously it's the team that plays offense. Why is that? Well, because the team that plays defense, the only thing, at best they can tie. I said, yeah. And what can happen for the team that plays offense? Well, they can score or they don't, but at least they're playing to win. And he looked at me and he said, "Daniel, do you see how this relates to your business?" And all of a sudden I just went, oh my God. And I realized what I was doing as I was pulling back, and not just through, I was being fiscally smart, and that's a good thing. That wasn't bad. I'd done some good moves. But what it had done, I had fallen back onto my heels, and I wasn't properly taking action to build the business. I wasn't trying new ways of marketing because that would cost money. but that was positive money. Yes, I didn't have to have the perfect, film crew or the perfect overhead headlights. I had to have good ones to make the experience good, but I didn't have to have, top notch. But what I did have to have was I had to have people in the room. Because if I was spending £3,000 and not having anyone in the audience, it didn't matter. So I had to do the offensive things well. I had to try new marketing channels. I had to go out there. I had to get the best speakers. I had to have the best products. I had to get the most people in the room. And it just was that reminder that if I wasn't playing on offense, I wouldn't get any results. And that kind of reminded me of something that Darren Hardy talks about a lot. I don't know if you've read any of Darren Hardy's books, but he's the founder of Success magazine. And in a lot of his books, he talks about the importance of taking action. Because if you don't take action, you don't get any results. And that's kind of what was happening to me, right? I wasn't taking action. I wasn't getting the results. So what you need to do is take action. Because if you take action, there are only two possible outcomes. And what are they? Well, one is that you succeed, which is great, so you take action and it works and you're like, yes, this is amazing. But the other is that you learn. See, if you were thinking fail, you were thinking just as I was. But it's not a failure unless you give up. It's a failure if you surrender. But if you look at it and you say, okay, so what worked well there? What did not work well? And what can I do differently? Then it's just a learning experience and you go again. And then you act again. And so what happens now? Well, there are only two possible scenarios. You either succeed or you learn some more. And then you act again and you succeed or you learn. And finally, you'll reach that other side. And this is what happened. Remember our student from Denmark that I told you about last week? And I'm sorry, I can't share all of his details, but he worked for 12 months. For every week, he was out pitching investors. And so the first investor literally laughed in his face. And so he could have just given up and said, this doesn't work. I can't do it. But he said, no, wait. All right, so what did I learn? What did I do well? What did not go well? Well, he laughed at me. But what will I do differently? And so he said, all right, I'll try this a little differently. And he tried again. The next one didn't laugh at him. The next one got angry with him. And so he said, okay, well, so that didn't work. So what can I do differently? And he talked to the next one, and the next one just wasn't interested. Talked to the next one, he tried different. He adapted. And it took him 52 weeks of adapting, but he figured it out. And probably the most famous example of this is Thomas Edison. You might have heard of him, the man who invented the light bulb, right? Well, he's written about in Think and Grow Rich, and it's one of the powerful stories in that book, which is one of the reasons why you're getting the book with the teachings from Napoleon Hill himself, which is so cool. I'm so happy we were able to get a hold of that video and give it to you in this course. It's very, very powerful. But Thomas Edison tells the story about how he was inventing the light bulb. And he'd been very vocal about what he was doing and this invention. And so he was failing, or he was learning, and every time he found a new way that didn't work. But finally, a journalist came to him and said, Mr. Edison, sir, you've now failed about 6,000 times to invent the light bulb. Isn't it time you give up already? And Thomas Edison just looked at him and just went, son, you do not know how the world works. I have not failed a single time. I've successfully found 6,000 ways not to invent the light bulb. Isn't that an amazing way to look at it? He hadn't failed. He'd found successfully 6,000 ways that didn't work. He found 4,000 more before number 10,001-ish was the one that worked. And that was what created his entire empire. And this is what it will do for you. Perseverance is the key to success. I'm not going to tell you here that you won't have road bumps. You will have challenges on the way. You will get the whole roadmap here in the course. You will have so many tools that you'll be able to fall back on and use to reach your goals and success. You have so much knowledge here, and you have the community to support you, and you even have a coaching call with one of our coaches here to help you so that you can ask questions in a one-on-one setting from a coach, which is so, so powerful. So you have all these things that are here to help you and support you on this journey. You will still have challenges and setbacks. Remember, for George even, his hotel, it didn't get filled up right away. He had to keep putting money into it. But he did it long enough that all of a sudden exploded, and in a very short period of time he was free. So perseverance is the key to success. Keep going, keep fighting, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and finally you will succeed. And just follow the roadmap. You got the getting started checklist. You're going to be getting it after this module so that you can just go step by step and reach your success. So good luck and keep up the good work. I'll see you in the next lesson.